Hi there, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of my album reviews. My name is Christian Eschbach, and today we're going to be looking at Apizaz Narf Startal. Now, Frank Zappa's Hot Rats. I was trying to be cute and say it backwards, sorry, just because I know how it looks when it shows up there, you know. Anyways, Hot Rats, Frank Zappa. Fantastic album. Let me start with Love Affair with Frank Zappa. Frank Zappa, not everything is great. I will be the first person to say that. But when you literally have a catalog well over 100 discs, I'll be honest, over half of them are live. But when that is what your catalog comprises of, not every album is going to be a winner. Hot Rats is not only a winner, but it is... I use the word masterpiece sometimes too much. I don't want to say it's a masterpiece, but you know, it's an exceptional album. For starters, Frank Zappa, unfortunately, tends to mostly get respect just from musicians in the musician community. Frank Zappa is most definitely a musician's musician. He doesn't get enough general public play. To be fair, most of his music is too controversial for today's sissy sensitive media. But this particular album, it only has one song with lyrical content at all. The rest of the album is completely instrumental. I love Frank Zappa instrumentals. If you enjoy instrumentals, this is an album to pick up. Are 6 tracks to the album. The only track with vocals is the second longest at 9 minutes 23 seconds. I'll get to that in a minute. But the rest of the album, which comprises of another solid 30 minutes of music, give or take, beautiful instrumentation. So let's honestly get into this. So the album opens up with Peaches and Regalia. This is actually a Frank Zappa mainstay. It's included in a lot of his collections of instrumental stuff. I believe it's on You Can't Play, or You Can't Do That on Stage Anymore, or you know, like it shows up in all of his live sets. It shows up a lot. It's a huge song. It's a well-respected song. It's a well-loved song. It's a very warm song. It really is. It's got this beautiful, warm... With Frank Zappa, his song titles on his instrumentals, sometimes they're clever and cute. Sometimes they adequately just describe how the song sounds. And the song does sound like Peaches and Regalia. It really does. It's just so warm and inviting, and you know, if I like peaches, I could probably describe it better, but I don't like peaches, so I'm like that. Anyways, but beautiful song. Just you got to listen to it, man. It is. It just you listen to it once, and chances are you will probably enjoy it forever. You're gonna be like, why have I not heard this before? Or you're gonna think, what movie did I hear this in? And chances are you've never heard it in a movie. But that's the type of song that it is. Moving on to the next track is Willie the Pimp. Willie the Pimp stands out on this album for 2 reasons. First off, it's the only song on the album that has lyrics. And the song is sung by the legendary Captain Beefheart. I'm not well versed on Captain Beefheart as of this moment in time. I know a little bit. I don't mind some Captain Beefheart here and there when I hear it. But Captain Beefheart is much to me like Frank Zappa is, where he's a little odd, a little eccentric. But his eccentricities don't necessarily appeal to me the same way. This song, however, Willie the Pimp, is a great song. I mean, it really is. It's a song about Willie the Pimp, you know, and Captain Beefheart gets totally into character, singing this song, you know, going on about how he's Willie the Pimp and talking about his life and stuff like that. Musically, on its own, it is fantastic. It is absolutely a phenomenal song. Even if you want to ignore the lyrical content, if you can't get behind singing about being a pimp, if you're into Snoop Dogg, man, if you're one of those people that are into rap, hip hop, stuff like that, and you're into like Snoop Dogg, and you want to know where like the genesis of that whole kind of pimp kind of mentality came from, at least musically, we'll say, okay? This is a good spot to go to. Now, that being said, it's a white pimp because it's Captain Beefheart, so please take that with a grain of salt. I do understand political correctness. Once again, Frank Zappa does not give two shits about political correctness. Willie the Pimp, though, is a great song. It really is. Moving on to the next song. Son of Mr. Green Jeans. Now, that is genes as in genetics, not jeans as in the pants that you wear, just so we have that clarification. I don't know how to describe this song. I would say the easiest way I describe it is it's a little too long. It clocks in, according to here, at 8 minutes 57 seconds. This is the only instrumental I feel carried on excessively beyond where it needed to. I didn't find the themes in the song maneuvered around within the music or changed up or had variations or anything like that enough to warrant the length of it. I feel it was a little bit of exercise in gratuitous extended instrumentation. That stuff that punk bands, a decade later would rebel against. Because I should mention that this album is from 1969. Once again, fantastic album. And the other thing I like about Zappa is, I'm not sure if the camera's going to see this properly here, but with Zappa, let's see if I can do this. Oh, it's not going to focus in. Okay, up here above the little Zappa stash, there's a little number, okay? This one is 8, because of Zappa's 8th album. So when you're looking for albums, always look for the number. Depending on the number, depends on where you are in the spectrum and how likely it is to be new material versus just rehashed material as well. But anyways, continuing back on with this. From Son of Mr. Green Jeans, we go on to Little Umbrellas. Little Umbrellas is 3 minutes and 9 seconds of pure, jazzy, loungy. When it's called Little Umbrellas, it's not Little Umbrellas as in, I'm going to keep myself dry. It's Little Umbrellas as in that whole cocktail lounge thing. Because this whole song is just, it reeks of lounge lizard. It reeks of lounge people, of the type of people that Zappa loved to make fun of. And this is before we got to the disco age. This is like, this album really is almost in itself ahead of its time. Like, this album really would have been in place a solid, I want to say a solid 5 to even 10 years later, with the way that the vibe. It's like it was almost predicting what was going to come. Because, when I listen to Little Umbrellas, it really feels like, a bunch of these swinger moms and dads, the cliched jokes that you see in TV or whatnot, key parties, throw your key in the bowl or whatever kind of thing. That's what Little Umbrellas reeks of in its own little subtle way. And it does it with such beautiful jazzy sexiness. It's sleazy sexiness, like it's that little line between when, like, look at an Oscar ball gown, those ones that like leave nothing to the imagination but they look so stylish still. That is Little Umbrellas, except kind of go the opposite way almost. Like, it looks sleazy but it's actually style. I don't know, it you gotta listen to the song. It's just really good that way. From there, we go on to the longest song on the album, clocking it at almost a full 13 minutes, but 12 minutes, 54 seconds. The Gumbo Variations. This is a great track. Where I previously complained about Son of Mr. Green Jeans going on too long, this one does the exact opposite. The Gumbo Variations makes sense when you listen to it, because there's always that underlying theme, but there's variations on the underlying theme. It's clever, but it's not clever, right? Fantastic piece though. The one thing that kind of makes this song great, but to the casual listener would be a complete detractor, is the saxophone and the way the sax is played. If I remember correctly, with the legend of this, Zappa learned how to play sax specifically for this album, or he taught himself how to play sax and then he used his newly acquired skills almost right away to do the gumbo variations. I think. I checked the liner notes and I didn't remember seeing specifically a name listed to the sax, so I think that's the story with it. You can tell that it's got that new youthful experimentation, that studying of the instrument, the seeing what you can do with the instrument. Not every part of that song has great sax in it by any stretch of the imagination, but it is amazing and interesting to listen to what Zappa does with it. Or if it isn't Zappa, I do apologize, whoever's playing the sax. It's amazing what they do with it, because it does add so many variations to the song, and it does add so much texturing, and it really brings the song to life. And then we're just going to quickly go on to the ending here, where it finishes off with, "It must be a camel. It must be a camel." Really, the song to me feels like it's riding a camel. It feels like what it'd be like to ride a camel, to discover a camel, to, go out there, feel around, and go, imagine being a blind person and test riding a camel for the first time. And you've had camels described to you your whole life, and then you go up to it, you're blind, and you're feeling around, you feel the hums, and then you get on it, you ride, and you kind of feel the jostling of, because it's not the same as riding on a horse or anything like that, right? It's different. So, so to me, this is, "It Must Be a Camel" would be like the musical description of what it's like to discover a camel. Um, as a comparison, I guess that old Chinese proverb of, take, what is it, 7 blind guys and walk them up to an elephant and how them around each part. They'll each tell you it's a different thing. You put it all together, that's how you get the elephant. Well, "It must be a camel" is the blind person, doing, that whole cliche, rubbing the whole face and rubbing the whole animal down, not in a sick way either, perverts. But, rubbing the whole animal down and, sorry guys, you get where I'm going with this. I'm sure at this point you're probably laughing, going, "Shut up, you're rambling again." So you get where I'm going with "It Must Be a Camel." Now, the whole album, I really cannot suggest this album enough. If you are a young person who is discovering music, and I mean discovering music, not discovering songs, pick up this album. This is an album for musicians and people that are into music. This is a music lover's album, okay? If you are just a casual listener, Peaches and Regalia will definitely be something you will enjoy. Outside of that, maybe Little Umbrellas, only because of the time factor of it being only 3 minutes and 9 seconds. Those being short songs, I can see the casual listener maybe being okay with that. The fact that there's no lyrics in today's culture of regular music listening, lyrics is such a huge thing. And I not I appreciate music. Music first, lyrics second. That's me. Music first, lyrics second. Go out, pick it up, listen to it, enjoy it. Enjoy it very much, because Zappa fought for music. He fought for artistic freedom. Zappa died way too early, unfortunately. He died of prostate cancer in the early 90s. And being as we are now in the month of November, I would take this moment to say, please go get checked, especially gentlemen over the age of 40. Different countries, different doctors, different perspectives on this. Especially the older you get, the more you have to pay attention to this. Please pay attention to prostate awareness. There is not enough out there for prostate awareness. Go research some information on your prostate. This is November. The prostate is the man's month in November. Please don't end up like Frank Zappa. Don't leave us too early. And on that note, Frank Zappa, Hot Rats, you gotta go get this one. If you've never bought any Frank Zappa, this is a good place to start. If you want lyrics, I got some other albums I'll suggest down the line that are also great places to start. This is a great place to start. So until next time, thank you very much for watching. I love you all. Peace and take care.